Okay, so we already know that AI is evolving at an extremely rapid pace, but this one company might have just changed the future of artificial intelligence forever. On January 10th, 2025, an AI app was launched globally that by late January not only sent all of Silicon Valley into a panic, but was also arguably the catalyst for upwards of $2 trillion being wiped from financial markets. But what exactly is this AI application, and why was its release so detrimental to the US AI industry and financial markets alike? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about in today's video. We'll be going over things like what exactly this application is, why it's so revolutionary for the future of AI, and how it could have potentially been the reason for the recent market crash, and much, much more. So make sure you guys stick around for the full video, because this implication of this technology may very well reshape the fabric of everyday reality as we know it. Okay, so enough hype. What is this AI I'm talking about? This is going to be none other than DeepSeek, a Chinese artificial intelligence tech startup that was founded in 2023 by a man named Liang Wenfen. And I apologize in advance if I absolutely butchered that name. Anyways, the purpose of this company upon its foundation was to develop open source large language models, otherwise known as LLMs. Now, if you're familiar with the term LLM, you're really involved in the AI world, but this is essentially similar to a very popular American model that is ChatGPT. But as for what exactly the difference is between DeepSeek's LLM model and ChatGPT, this is something we will touch on in a second, as it is a very crucial aspect of the disruptive nature of the release of DeepSeek's LLM. Anyway, as you may know, China and the United States don't exactly have the best relationship. Because of this, the United States under the Biden administration put sanctions in place against China, which effectively cut off their ability to use the most superior NVIDIA GPU chips that have been used to power US-based AI projects like ChatGPT. This was obviously done in an effort to inhibit, or at the very least, slow down China's capabilities to produce superior AI models. Now, while this policy, which was enacted in late 2023, was obviously a smart move by the US, as we obviously don't want our adversaries to have superior AI technology to us, unfortunately, it didn't exactly work out in our favor. On January 10th, 2025, DeepSeek officially launched their first free AI chatbot app, DeepSeek R1, for iOS and Android users. Then roughly 2 weeks later, by January 27th, DeepSeek's app officially surpassed ChatGPT as the most downloaded free app in the United States and iOS App Store. And then, of course, all hell broke loose. On January 27th, 2025, you may have noticed that crypto and stock markets alike took a significant nosedive. Bitcoin lost nearly 6% in value, with many altcoins losing upwards of 11% in value overnight. Not only that, but NASDAQ futures were down 1,000 points, which was their biggest drop since September of 2022. But the real kicker was NVIDIA themselves, which lost upwards of $500 billion of market cap in that one day alone. Just in case you don't understand the significance of NVIDIA's plummet, it alone was the biggest single day loss of a stock's value in history. That's right, the stock got so eviscerated to the point that it literally broke a historic record. Insane. But unfortunately for investors, the bloodbath wasn't quite over yet. In the 24-hour period after DeepSeek stole the #1 spot in the US App Store, tech and semiconductor stocks quickly began to see what can only be described as an absolute massacre. Side note, for those that aren't aware, semiconductors are these really tiny chips that are used to power virtually all modern technology and act as the foundation for the GPUs that power AI systems. But back to the point, on January 27th, the success of DeepSeek triggered nearly a $1 trillion eraser of value, specifically in US-based tech and semiconductor companies. Broadcom, which is another American semiconductor company, lost almost $200 billion in value. And companies like Oracle, Microsoft lost around $70 billion just in that day. But at the same time, how exactly is it that this one Chinese-based AI application could cause such violent disruption amongst US tech stocks? And why are leaders of the tech industry so shaken up by it as well? Well, the truth may actually surprise you. Venture capitalist and Silicon Valley veteran Mark Anderson made a post on X in light of the DeepSeek fiasco. In that post, he stated that DeepSeek R1 is AI's Sputnik moment. What he's referencing in this statement is the 1957 launch of the then Soviet Union satellite Sputnik. This event was the catalyst for the space race between the US and the Soviet Union during the Cold War. Now, while most of us were not around to witness this event, Mark's statement speaks volumes nonetheless. This is because DeepSeek's release may very well become the catalyst for an AI arms race between the United States, China, and honestly many countries around the world. But what exactly does this mean for the future of AI? And what exactly makes DeepSeek R1 so significant? Well, the truth is actually pretty remarkable when you realize it. While at first use, DeepSeek may seem like a standard LLM similar to ChatGPT, and thus no more extraordinary. However, the real remarkability of this app actually lies in how it was created. Unlike ChatGPT, which required a $100 million investment to be trained and get itself off the ground, DeepSeek R1 was instead trained at a significantly lower cost of just $6 million. Yeah, you heard that right. Not only that, but it only requires a tenth of the computing power of comparable LLMs like ChatGPT. To give you guys a simple comparison as to how much computing power these AIs take up, one single ChatGPT prompt is the equivalent energy consumption of 10 Google searches. As if that wasn't enough, DeepSeek was able to accomplish all of this with much inferior GPU units compared to the hyper-efficient NVIDIA units LLMs like ChatGPT use. This is one of the main reasons why tech and US semiconductor stocks like NVIDIA lost so much value on the 27th, because with the release of DeepSeek, it was made very clear that despite what was previously thought, excessive amounts of funding and super-powered semiconductors like that of NVIDIA's are not actually necessary to make a superior AI model. And even though I previously mentioned that for the average US-based user of DeepSeek, it may seem like the app is not superior to ChatGPT according to studies run on both of the applications, but in certain categories, it's actually better. According to data collected by Kobesi Letter on X, DeepSeek is superior to ChatGPT in categories like AIM 2024 and Math 500. These are benchmarks used to evaluate the mathematical reasoning capabilities of LLMs. Another unique feature of DeepSeek R1 is that it actually has the ability to visually think. This means that when you ask it a question, you can see exactly how it comes to answer it, because it showcases the thoughts it goes through to get it into real time. And this is all accomplished, of course, at a significant fraction of the cost that was required to train ChatGPT. Now, with all this being said, what exactly does this mean for the future of AI? And better yet, should we be concerned? For a moment, try putting yourself in the shoes of a US tech leader in charge of an AI company. You've invested hundreds of millions of dollars into developing your own LLM with the most superior technology behind it. Then, out of nowhere, a Chinese company comes out with a LLM that is more advanced than yours and was created with far inferior technology, yet it has 10 times the computing power of your LLM. In this scenario, you will obviously be thrown into a state of shock and despair. Hell, you may even start crying in the middle of your multi-million-dollar mansion. When you put it that way, it's quite understandable that when you see the development of a superior LLM by a foreign adversary at a fraction of the cost, US tech companies are going to go into a frenzy for a variety of reasons. However, there is one more thing we haven't quite covered in depth, and it may just be the biggest one of them all. As stated earlier in the video, DeepSeek is also fully open source, which means any company or any person in the world with the resources to build a fully functioning LLM can now potentially do so at a fraction of the cost, as they can easily just reference DeepSeek's model and structural code. So to put this very exponential issue simply, DeepSeek has opened Pandora's box, because now any country in the world has the opportunity to create AI applications that could potentially compete neck and neck with US AI companies. For example, India just announced they're going to be investing billions of dollars into AI tech over the coming years. This clearly poses a massive threat to the long-standing monopoly the US has over the AI industry, and honestly just tech industries in general. And this, of course, is the big reason we saw such an ugly crash in the market. Because if tech companies in China can create superior AI applications en masse for cheap, they now have the potential to end the current monopoly US companies have on AI. Regardless of how you look at it, the intelligence, innovation, and resourcefulness of the team behind DeepSeek is nothing short but extraordinary. But of course, the caveat is, as incredible as it may be, it has profound implications not only on the future of AI, but for geopolitical relations between the US, China, and potentially other countries as well. And some of you might be wondering, why is it so bad to let other countries capitalize on new innovation? Well, to put it simply, there isn't anything wrong with that. I believe all competition is good competition. But why this could be worrisome to many is that certain countries may begin to rapidly develop AI models with little to no regulations or ineffective safety measures in place. This could get pretty ugly pretty quick, and there's a whole lot of movies we could reference as to what that could look like. At the same time, there is an equal possibility that AI instead changes the future of humanity in an abundantly positive way as well. So before we close this out, I just want to present an alternative perspective. Think about it this way. Throughout history, anytime new widespread technological advancements were introduced to society, people thought it would be the end of the world, and it never was. Take the widespread societal introduction of electricity, for example. When it was initially introduced into society in the 19th century, many people thought it was going to kill them. But look at all the benefits it brought instead. Sure, maybe a handful of people got electrocuted, but without electricity, what would the infrastructure of society look like today? We'd probably still be riding around on horseback, but modern medical advancements would be non-existent, and you certainly wouldn't be able to watch this video right now. That being the case, it's entirely likely that the same thing could be happening right in front of us with AI, as it's been for every other technological advancement in history. And when you look at it like that, it's better to remain optimistic for its future than to lose sleep over it instead.